Hi, my name is John Collins. I'm a detective. I'm on the FATE unit, which is in the Special Investigations Division of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
And I'm Detective Chad Marr, also with the Special Investigations FATE unit with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Our day-to-day operations is going after fugitives. That's the number one job that we have. Now, fugitives can be people that have arrest warrants or people that have recently committed a crime and are fleeing from law enforcement. The people that are put on the most wanted list all have arrest warrants, but they're in particular, they're harder to find. We can't find them. We think they may have fled the state. They may be hiding with family. So they're put on a most wanted list to get help from the public. We received information from the Kansas Attorney General's office that two individuals that were wanted for embezzlement of over $2 million were in Maricopa County. They had general areas of where they were living. We were able to do some investigations, find locations of their residence. We set up surveillance on both houses, and one at a time we made contact with them at the front door, not letting them know we were with law enforcement, and we convinced them to come out, and without getting specific on how we do things, we had them come out to the front yard where they were taken into custody. The FATE unit received a grand jury warrant for this individual who was wanted for child abuse. After reviewing the case, it was discovered that it was a pretty gruesome case of child abuse. The FATE team set up surveillance on the individual's house, or where we believed he may be staying. After a short period of time, someone matching the description of the subject came out and was riding on a bicycle. While he was on his bike, we attempted to make contact. He fled at that time, fled down an alleyway, was able to jump a fence, get into a yard of a neighboring house, and we were able to surround that fence and that house location and get him into custody without incident. There were no injuries involved.
On the Mark Martinez case, I was the case agent. So on this one in particular, it was a homicide case from back in 2013 that they had submitted charges on. So once I got the warrant, we conduct what we call as a workup, essentially using law enforcement databases and any kind of information that we kind of dig up on these individuals to potentially find their last location. So I did that. Once I kind of had a general idea where he was at, then I went down, conducted surveillance, found the individual, was able to positively identify him as the suspect that we're looking for. He ended up going into the house at first. Just so happened simultaneously, our Major Crimes Division, who originally worked the case back in 2013, had actually called my supervisor and was inquiring if we would go out and look for this individual because they had just recently submitted the case. So it kind of like the stars and the planets and everything aligned on this one. Then he asked the Major Crimes Division supervisor what his name was, and it just so happened to be the guy that I just found. So he let him know, and they were all ecstatic about it. So we ended up, once we identified him, we're kind of trying to devise a plan on how we wanted to safely apprehend the individual. He ended up actually getting back in his vehicle, and at which time we were able to conduct mobile surveillance, and we found the individual, and we safely took him down. Typically what we try to do on this unit in particular is we use the element of surprise to our advantage. So it's the reason why we kind of go about the way that we do it, and it works out great for us because it makes it safe for not only us, but also the individuals that we're apprehending.
Wade Estelle had a warrant for his arrest for sexual conduct with minors. He was put on the most wanted list, and at that point, I don't believe we received any tips on him at that point. We had checked all of the locations where we thought he might be, and we could not find him. It turns out that he had moved to Vietnam, and he went to the U.S. consulate and bought some stamps. While at the U.S. consulate, I believe it's their policy, and they ran him for warrants and discovered that he did indeed have a warrant out of Maricopa County. At that time, they allowed him to leave, and he just went to his home or wherever that he was living in Vietnam. From there, I believe Vietnam officials and U.S. officials were able to get him into custody, and he was then extradited back to the United States.
With this particular suspect, we had received information through what we call silo tip or silent witness. That's just basically a process in which somebody could call hotline if they have specific information on the possible whereabouts, especially with the top 20. So they have specific, information on where the possible whereabouts of these individuals. So we received the tip, or the case agent received the tip, and started working the case. We were ending up, because of the information, we were able to locate him in Missouri, and then because we're part of a FBI task force, violent crimes task force, we were able to also get in contact with the FBI in Missouri, and they were the ones that ultimately apprehended the suspect safely. So it was a huge national-wide team effort, and that's usually how it happens. Since the inception of Fate, we've made 699 arrests. Typically, when it comes to the top 20 most wanted that we have here at the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, it is, it's a collaborative effort, not just with the case agents working the cases and other law enforcement agencies, but particularly the public. That's the reason why we've kind of decided to put these particular cases out to the public, is because ultimately they have more information and more eyes than we do.